Goose. Goose originally I knew of when JP went from me just kind of filling in for a couple of projects he had going on at the time, which I guess was what was left of Verticoli, to starting Demigod Collective. I think Goose reached out to JP saying he was going to fly back and we were going to give this whole thing a shot, and the only thing was just introducing us to each other. I went to some Getty, and I went there to meet JP, and Goose happened to be there. And I remember looking into the room and seeing all these people, and most of them looked pretty plain, except for this couple in the back that looked a little bit cooler. And I was like, man, I sure hope that's Goose, because that's the guy I want to work with. And it turned out he was. So, Goose has, to me, he brings the most unique musical influences to the group. He has a huge affinity for indie music and a lot of stuff that pays attention to melody in a different way than maybe JP and I. And it reflects in a lot of the songs that we've released that he played the biggest contribution to. Goose has grown crazy as a producer, and it's only highlighted the natural talents and tendencies that were already there. The song that we are currently dropping, Unruly, was by and large finished by him. I mean, I took it and I tweaked it, but that song would not exist if Goose hadn't made it in the first place, which is pretty cool, I think.
Goose? Oh man, if there wasn't a smoother criminal than Goose, I don't know who the fuck it would be. He is what everybody who's ever wanted to do music for does. He is that positive energy. He is that person who wants to contribute, and that person who really receives criticism and feedback like to the chin, like to the fucking chin. And that's valuable. 100%. I don't know what to do without him either. I'm gonna be honest. I know he was overwhelmed going into the project, 100%. And, me and Q were just like, we got you, man. Just do what we ask you to. And we're really going to take this to the next level. Because I know it wasn't because his music, he's an amazing singer, but songwriting wise, he wasn't there yet. And I didn't want him to feel intimidated that we're like doing this thing that we don't even know what it is and all this other shit. And he came out in spades. Ironically, everyone's favorite songs are the ones he wrote by himself. I don't fucking get it either, but I'm so happy for him, of course. Why wouldn't I be? He's just an energetic, magnetic character that, if you're lucky to have one of those in your group, you're fine. Just one of the most amazing dudes. I don't want to keep giving him praise because he doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't have a place to put it. But the fact that he taught me basically how to sing harmony and really put the vocal stretches on there, and the fact that his loyalty has always fucking been there. He could have been anybody's bitch right now in an R&B game and just sang bullshit songs, but his loyalty is what I'm really, dumbfounded by. His loyalty is the best feature. Fuck the singing. It's the loyalty, 100%.
So where I lie as far as like my role within Demigod Collective, I think it's right like in the middle of both of them. It's stupid how our dynamic is. Like Q's technical, and JP's like more broad strokes. So when it comes down to like the nitty gritty of recording or something like that, obviously Q's the go-to. And JP like it wants nothing to do with like the small details. JP's a rock star without the acclaim. Like that's just how he lives. I understand both, because when it comes to like vision mapping and all that stuff, I can be there with JP and get his sense of direction as far as like what he wants to do on either the next project or what's something that could be improved upon. We can just literally like get elements of other things that we like and kind of see how we can make them our own. And then when it comes to technical things like recording techniques and actual production within like a DAW like Logic or something. Like I can do some of that. Not as much as Q. Nowhere near as much as Q. But enough to be passable so that like Q is like, yeah, I can totally work with this. So when it comes to like pumping out ideas, it could be JP and I in a room and we can get a lot of things done. I'm also, I guess, a de facto singer of the group, even though Q has an amazing voice. And more recently, as we've learned with our collaborations with other people, I'm the front lines. I'm the front lines socially. I'm the guy who's gonna be in front of people before the other two, just because I treat it as this. They're VIP. You need to get through me. I need to see if you're worth, like, what can you bring to the table to make it worth their while. That's how I treat it. Because I treated it another way before, and I've learned from past interactions that if everybody goes into it, it usually turns into a waste of time. There's too many voices. So I guess I'm just the front line socially, and when it comes to the creative process, I dabble in both realms. So it kind of, like, everyone always has someone to talk to when it comes to an idea. I think that's my main role. I really bridge the gap between the two. JP, I met that motherfucker way too long ago, man. I met him in a setting that is so anti-JP, considering now that I know fully who he is, that it's fucking funny. That's for another video, though. JP is the inception of Demigod. He fully had the vision, because whereas he was doing this thing solo for a while, and then he met Q, and then he realized that I was coming back and I wanted to do this fully and seriously, that's when he had to have an idea of what we were going to be doing moving forward, and he came up with that, and he put that on his shoulders. Because this has been his dream since day one, man. He doesn't want to do anything else besides make shit for people and get paid for it. And he is the one, whereas anyone from an outside perspective would see like, oh, that guy's fucking negative, fuck him. No, man. JP is our subtractive force, which we need. He curates the things we do, because between the three of us, we can do so much shit. And not saying he's the only person who does, because obviously Q and I have input on things, but he's the main force. He will tell me straight up, he's like, yo, fuck whatever you did, that was bullshit, you do better. And I'm not one who takes shit personal, so I'm like, yo, yeah, okay, let's fucking, if you feel that strongly about it, let's fucking do something else. And it's that type of drive that really, I think, sets us apart, just because you don't really see that much, especially in our music scene. Everybody says a certain V word that we don't even know. And everybody's like, yeah, positivity and all those things. It's like, positivity is good, but it also makes for shitty music in case there's no one there to be real with you. And JP doesn't know how to do anything else but be real. And that's kind of like what keeps us together. Like, that's the glue that keeps us together and keeps us ahead and keeps us innovating, because there's no way that if anyone in this group would stop us from falling short, it's JP. It's JP. We're not falling short. There's no way. We're not putting out something that we think is super lackluster or anything because of his ass. So if you think something's dope, thank JP.
Alright, so JP, well, I guess I'll start with how we met. We met online, which is, I guess, it's kind of a modern way to meet up. There was this rock forum for, like, Miami people, and he would make the douchiest comments to all these bands, but I noticed that he was pretty much invariably right. So I figured, if only somebody could package this a little bit more digestibly, maybe they could grow from it. Enter me. And that just kind of became this back and forth. Like, he would say something, I would say it a little bit more nicely, or perhaps broken in a more constructive way, which actually ends up becoming a role that I play in Demigod Collective, which I think JP talks about. So I guess the chemistry was always there. And eventually I was like, you know, this guy seems to know something. I think I could reach out to him, maybe there's something there. So I reached out to him to see what he was doing, the groups he was in. At that point, I think he was in Verticoli, and that's what started that whole thing. JP is unquestionably the person whose brainchild this project was. Even though all three of us definitely make up a solid third of the group, the original theatrics and sonic textures came from some of JP's earlier projects that I noticed that he kind of gravitated towards certain textures and sounds that I happen to think were very cool, and I definitely worked towards making those signature Demigod Collective sound, and I continue to develop that. He's got a lot of great ideas, and he's really good at things I'm not good at. Like, he can be very sociable when he wants to. He's almost obsessive with how he pays attention to music and fashion and everything else. And when I'm busy trying to figure out like the correct way to treat a kick in a track, he's figuring out what the most current music is. And what trends are going to allow us to stay timeless and current at the same time through our visuals and through everything else. So that's something that I probably could not do myself, and JP contributes to valuably. He also helped me make sure I could dress myself properly. When I joined the group, I had taste, which I can attest to because I have a pretty cool custom blue guitar that I built and a couple other things that I guess kind of allude to that I wasn't totally hopeless, but I really didn't know how to dress myself. Shortly after I dropped out of school and moved into the house that we worked on the first album with, I pretty much threw out everything I owned except for like a shirt and a pair of jeans, and I completely built my wardrobe up from there. And I guess you would have to have known me then to really appreciate how that helped, but yeah, thanks JP.
My role in the group is to lead, is to have these ideas work. That's pretty much it. My role is the least like tangible per se, but we obviously we don't get anywhere without me, and that's not being cocky about it. That's not being fucking a brick. It's just really true. I brought them together, and we have to make this fucking work. It's my responsibility to make this work. It's not theirs. They're gonna do their best, but it's my responsibility to make this shit happen, and to lead with that vision. But more importantly, to make sure they are comfortable. You know, because I'm crazy. The things I demand for in music and things is dumb. I don't take compromise very well. And I am not one that wants to water down an idea, no matter how obscene it is. And I feel that my drive to get these guys to this point is what makes all the difference. 100%. Because someone's got to lead this train, dude. It's my jackass right here. And I'm happy doing it. There's no one else I would want to share something with besides them. And the thing is, like, it's not like we're like buddy forever, for life. Not we know each other that long. I think we all hit each other on a crossroads of where is this? What are we doing, music-wise, life-wise? And we've dealt with each other's ups and downs through that point. But the whole time, I have to make sure it doesn't matter because the group has to go forward, no matter what. The show must go on, and I am in charge of making sure the show goes on. It's really hard to talk about yourself with these things, by the way. What a concept. But I really am in a great position with these guys, and we're gonna do it. And this is an indication that the best things in life are incredibly fucking hard, then we are on the right fucking path. This is hard as